Okay, here we're going to be simplifying the square root of negative 72. This is going to be done by using something that we know about square roots or radicals in general, which is that these things can be broken down into factors. We can say that the square root of AB is the same as the square root of A times the square root of B. This can be shown fairly simply by just squaring both sides and seeing that your results are equal to one another. Now, in our example, we are going to be saying that the square root of negative 72 is basically like the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 72. We would typically not have an answer to what we think the square root of negative 1 is, but we have a different whole number system that exists to answer that question, which is called the imaginary numbers, where we say that I is the square root of negative 1. That's just what we define this little letter to mean. It's that it is the answer to that question, what is the square root of negative 1? Okay, so what we are going to rewrite this as is I times the square root of 72. Now, we can simplify this further by going through the same process of factoring. So if I were to factor this down to square root of 9 times the square root of 8, I would be able to say that this is the same as I times 3 square roots of 8. If I was able to take this and say square root of 4 times square root of 2, I'd be able to say that we have I times 3 times 2 times square root of 2. And that's where I would finish up. So I would say that my final answer is 6I root 2. Combining 3 and the 2 here to get that 6.